It's Blue Monday, apparently, and we're trying to boycott that this year. And there's been so much talk about health and well-being and its relationship to COVID-19 and how we can improve our health and well-being and why we should focus on that so much. Professor Chris Whitty talked about it a little bit at the briefing back in April, moving more. How do we think, where do we think we are now at the moment? Why is it so important that people really, really do focus in on their health and how much they're moving about?
Yeah, so Blue Monday, and I agree with boycotting it. Things can only get better, as they say. Spring is coming slowly. I agree with Chief Medical Officer. There's no human condition for which exercise isn't good for you. I don't care what kind of exercise it is, but more is better and more frequent is better. And there's always things that we can do. We all know that we're not active enough. So whether it be gardening, whether it be running or cycling or some other form of organised sport, or whether it be dancing, then the more we do, the better. The better. The benefits are immediate. We all know that. The more we do it, the more benefits we get. We all feel good. The endorphins, we've all read about the endorphins. So, I mean, that recommendation number one is move more, and the clue is in the title. There's always lots of opportunity out there. At the moment, we're all kind of housebound because we're in lockdown. I know lots of people have rediscovered Joe Wicks, who's apparently back on YouTube again. I know lots of people who've discovered dance workouts and all sorts of things. So there's lots of, despite the fact that we're indoors and it is winter and it's pretty horrible weather, there's still lots of stuff that we can do and should do, and every little counts.
And when we're talking about moving more, it really is relative to where you are at the moment, isn't it? So if you're not moving at all, just a few minutes can make a significant difference, even as little as a 10-minute walk. But if you're suffering from a health condition, even just 1 or 2 minutes will make a difference too, won't it?
Completely. And imagine you move more than most, I would imagine. So I move considerably less than you, and at the moment I spend far too much time sat on this chair in front of a Zoom screen in my spare bedroom. There's a sort of something about conscious effort to just have to build a few minutes here and a few minutes there into our daily routine. For me, it's never been about I need to build an hour to go for a long run, though I'd like to. But a few minutes here, a few minutes there, no matter what your underlying condition can help. I suppose if you have an underlying condition, there's probably a point to be made about not pushing it too quickly or too fast. Go with what you think your body can cope with. But even 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there helps and makes a difference. And the more blocks of 10 minutes, the better, obviously.
And it's also really important to point out that those 10-minute blocks don't have to be a formal appointment with a class. It can be as simple as walking to the shop to pick up what you need, your essentials at the moment, going out for a gentle bike ride with the kids in between their Zoom call lessons or whatever it might be. It really can be as informal as you need it to be, just to get outside and enjoy that fresh air.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be any sort of big formal class-based thing. I know. I read this stat recently that I think 2/3 of all journeys are less than 500 meters. I was astounded at that. My local co-op is about 800 meters away. I'd never think about driving there. I occasionally cycle there, but I mostly walk there. But if 2/3 of journeys are less than 500 meters, if that's true, then that's a great big opportunity to build a little bit of exercise into all of our days. Probably do a good bit for congestion as well whilst we're at it. It's probably as quick to walk or to certainly cycle those 500 meters than it is to drive by the time you've faffed around finding the car keys and getting in the car. And it's those little things that will collectively add up to a lot. But it requires us to make a conscious effort. And only we can decide whether or not to make a conscious effort. But it does need conscious effort, but it's relatively easy.
And all throughout the year, we've talked about how we can contribute to and play our part in the pandemic. Now, people like me like you on the front line and working day to day on the strategies to support people to overcome the virus. But that doesn't mean to say we don't have a role to play, does it? Because by looking after our own health, we're contributing to that wider society challenge of public health and also to protecting our NHS in the future.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there was something really early on in I think it was wave one, when wave one was beginning to take off. There was a narrative that was out there about flattening the baseline, and that was about doing all we can to keep ourselves as well as possible, to free up the NHS and social care services to deal with and provide good care to those who are poorly with COVID. And that still applies now. The more that we can do to keep ourselves healthy, one, would be healthier, it's a good thing, and two, it will mean less pressure on the NHS and social care system, which is an exceptionally busy time for NHS and social care right now in South Yorkshire. For someone who smokes, the single most important thing they can do, and we all know this, is to stop. So look for local support.
And while we're talking about addictions and challenges with things, obesity is a big topic at the moment, isn't it? And how people who are overweight have a higher chance of getting a more worse version of COVID-19. Eating healthily isn't just the only thing you can do, though, is it? Because physical activity can also help contribute to bringing down your weight and putting you back in that more preferable BMI range.
Completely. It's hard work. Anyone who's ever tried to lose weight knows it's damned hard work. But both what we eat and how much we move both make a big difference to that. And we need to do it consistently over a long period of time. And it's not all about the choices that individuals make. I accept I have a responsibility to help provide the right kind of environment. You in your role have a responsibility to build cycle lanes, put bluntly, and from what I hear, you're doing a pretty good job. So it's not just about individual willpower, it's about collective effort, but all those things can and do make a difference, and our behavior will make a difference to how healthy we are. And it's not easy, it's not a quick fix, but there are things that we can do, and we will feel better about ourselves as well. There's no doubt there. The evidence is really clear that being more active leads to better mental health and well-being. That's crystal clear. So endorphins, I think, is the key there.
Well, it definitely sounds like endorphins are exactly the right way to go to counteract this Blue Monday. Greg, thank you so much for joining me. It's really, really great to talk to you.
Okay, no worries. Thanks, Sarah.